Because I wanted to ask you about this period, because this was like the end of when Existence was still at the top scene. And obviously this is years after all the problems they'd had in the past, you know. It was kind of his last chance. And like I say, it didn't have that much success. You had the one run, like when he played Legia's team at Cologne. That was like a nice run. But aside from that, there wasn't really much. And that was just before your time. So what I want to ask is this. And it's funny, because I've often said he was my favourite in-game leader. People always trash this guy and act like he was shit and he never did anything because they're just trying to like fuck with me. What?
I think you over-exaggerate on
this. I think people respect a lot what he did. And I think every player that is like watched up on national TV right now for one game will be trashed anyway. Like, and if you are like, sure. I mean, Smith was not so good, and then he had all this trash back.
Oh no, there's plenty of problems. Yeah.
So I just think like Existence was stuck in this thing. Like he didn't have his really high period as an individual for a while. He was on LDLC for a long time. He's coming back. It's quite easy to point out this guy and say, yeah, it's that was in the past.
Sure.
And as soon as he will miss a game or the team will not play so well or whatever, same again. So easy typing on the internet or Twitter or whatever.
Sure.
So it's just it's like, even though people in the present, they lose a game and they are flaming, I think a lot of people give a lot of credit to Existence for everything he did. I mean, from my knowledge.
For history, sure. But I mean, what point I was going to make was I actually know from talking to a lot of people, even in this period, he still did have a good mind for tactics and he could still set up a team very well. But he always had one flaw, and it's actually the reason why all those French players abandoned him, which is famously, if he went to majors, something was just wrong mentally. Like he would just always it's like he knew going into the major, like, oh, I've had problems in the past. It better not happen. The pressure on him was incredible because he'd gone out on the group stage so many times. I'll tell people a story. So when they actually played that one good tournament, that G2 lineup I was referring to, the Cologne one, where they got to the stage and they played this big team, and the first map was cash. It was this overtime game, and after that though, they got rocked on their own map, DOS2, and like it was out immediately, right? Because people knew that I was always hyping Existence, right? He must know that like people associate me with him, right? And what people don't know, one of the very weird things about Existence is, even though he's a very smart guy and he definitely can speak English, he's another person who believes he can't speak English at all. Even like he's one of those guys, Ligue, who you'll be talking to in English and then he'll just be like, yeah, I can't speak English. You're like, well, I don't speak French, so what the fuck are we talking in right now? Like, obviously we're just, you know, yeah, I know what they mean, but here's the mad anecdote, right? So because he didn't like to speak English though, he would never like start a conversation. You had to sort of like go over, say something in French, and then you could sort of get him open a little bit if he'd had a drink, you know. So the night after they lost that match, right, where obviously I hyped them, I said they were going to win 2-0, it was going to be awesome, right? We get in the elevator, you know when loads of people at an event get in an elevator, and it's like as each floor comes along, you know, 3 people get off, 2 people get off, right? Everyone's getting off, and then bizarrely, just only me and him are on the same floor, right, that it goes all the way up to. And he just sits there, because he just lost the match, remember? We've just both stood there, totally silent, and then when the door opens, he just turned and went, sorry. And then just went out, just went into his room, like. So he must have known, like, what was this, like? What did you think his actual, like? Was he too old school with how he was trying to do the approach, Malak?
Honestly, to comment, it will be difficult because, like, I've been coaching him for really little.
Fair enough.
We did like what? I don't know how long.
A few months, I think. A couple of months, maybe.
Just a few months.
Yeah.
And major happened, all these big tournaments happened. Me, I played CS Summit with him. I mean, not sword events. I didn't went on big stages with him. I didn't build up like super boot camp with like thinking mid long term so much. Like I cannot comment too much, and I didn't see him play on all CSGO because I wasn't there before. So that's actually tough for me to really like develop so much. I don't know him enough to comment. I have the feeling, but what I know is like as a competitor back in the days, he was better than me. Actually, he was doing things better than me. We were like 3-4 leaders. He was a bit younger. He arrived after, and he just took over on the French scene. And then he finished in VatriSam. He did a great run. I don't know Existence on CSGO so much. We just worked for 2 months. He was a great guy, hardworking. But about the direction we were taking, how we wanted to do things, that was a bit difficult. Also internally, like how do we make this next steps to actually go forward? We could have keep Existence and build around him and still make changes. We could have like go with shocks. I don't want to expand too much about
Yeah.
why and whatever, but we did what we did. It's a bit of a shame because I think we were having a good relationship, and I've been happy to work a bit longer with him. But yeah,
Fair
we
enough.
couldn't. So,
do you have any thoughts, Liggy, on Existence's career?
Yes. I think just on the last bit that you said, like if his approach of gaming or style of Counter-Strike, how to play, if it was too
Outdated
old,
or whatever, yeah.
Outdated, yeah. I think you can answer it by just comparing them with Big, or with Big, like, I don't know, with me, for example, in the lineup as well. I would say, and I think we can agree that GOP and Existence kind of have a similar approach to the game.
Agreed.
Very, very strict and very loose, kind of, but everything is strict, and they will coordinate everything.
Yes.
And I think that you can't say that that this style was outdated, pretty much, because just we ourselves had a big success with it. And even though you have to say and admit that the players that Existence had were individually much better players than we were in Big. You had the Shoxy, you had the
Kenny
Scream,
S.
I don't know, Kenny S, MBK. These are fucking monster players that have won huge tournaments for a long period of time. Plus, they have played in a team very long together. So either I think that they just didn't have enough time, just because I think that this style of gaming takes the most time to master, pretty much. So I think, how long did they play together? 6 months?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's enough. I don't really think that's enough. Plus, on top of coming that, first of all, in Big for us, it was way easier because we didn't have pressure from organization side. And I think that if you represent an organization like G2, for example, they will pressure you, knowing the fact that you have players that are maybe doubted a little bit from the scene, and also from experts, I would say, in Counter-Strike.
You got to have results, yeah.
And like Smith and Existence, they were not like the prime players that you want, maybe.
Yes.
But just because they had a history, they thought, okay, let's try it. And I think if you don't have pretty much fast success, that the organization will step in there. And that's what we didn't really have in Big. So we had our time. They believed in us, and we didn't have to worry about this aspect, which is very, very unhealthy for a player, having in your mind playing games that you have to perform.
Yes.
Any pressure that you have and get from organization, team, whatsoever, is just a negative effect for you, unless you can thrive with it. But starting to thrive with pressure, you have to be good first and have some success.
Not much as thriving with your own organization pressure. I don't know that much people that actually carry this. I know players that carry the pressure of their own performances on events.
Right.
Like they are working for something and they handle pressure really well, or can even thrive with it. I know, and I see this. But coming from the inside, I don't know many people that get anything positive out of it. I never witnessed this in my life.
What, getting pressure from organization?
Well, yeah, when you have pressure for your own organization, it's very difficult to get. The best is that it will not affect you so much, but you will not pay for anything. It's like,
the thing is, it's not like it doesn't even have to be that Carlos comes to you and say, guys, you have to win this tournament or whatsoever. It's just the fact, you knowing, as a player like Smith, I'm taking just as an example, this is your last shot.
Yes.
If you don't compete, if you don't win, your career is over, pretty much. So this already is a very, very hard obstacle to overcome mentally, a very, very big one. And then you have two players like that. I think Existence was at the same point like Smith was at this time.
Yes.
So for both of them, overcoming this feeling and knowing this thing is very hard, I think. And even then, I think they did quite decent. And I think outside of Smith, I believe that with Existence, they could have made a good team.
Yeah, I also think
obviously, I also don't know. I cannot really judge Smith. I don't know. He probably has his qualities, but I just think that individually, he just wasn't good enough, especially just because he had a 1 year break, 1.5 years break. I don't know.
Yeah.